What's up, everybody? So you're thinking about moving to the Oregon coast. You want to know a little bit more about Astoria, Oregon. Well, in this video, we're going to go through some of the pros and cons of Astoria, and we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living on the Oregon coast, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market on the coast. My name is Eddie, and I get emails, texts, calls all the time from people just like you looking to make a move or wanting more information about the coast. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, or you just want to know something about a different city on the coast, then make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text. Maybe we can jump on a Zoom and I can help you fulfill your real estate goals on the coast. Well, let's get after our video of the pros and cons of Astoria right now. Some interesting facts about Astoria is it's the oldest Oregon city in the history of Oregon. It was established and founded in 1811. And it's also the first permanent American settlement west of the Rocky Mountains. So you think of the history of America, which isn't too long ago, and Astoria is one of the most historic sites in all of the West Coast. So it was a city that John Jacob Astor founded in 1811 as the Fort Astoria in 1811. That was where they would do most of their main trading for the American Fur Company. So this is, when you think of all of Oregon and all of the West Coast, here at the mouth of the Columbia River, this is it. And Lewis and Clark in 1806, they actually camped out just across the way there at Fort Clatsop in 1806. They wintered there, and that was the end of their expedition, was there in the Astoria region. So another couple things is you've got the Astoria Megler Bridge, which is 4.1 miles across the Columbia River, and it's the longest three-truss bridge that was built to replace the ferry service that would go cold once the weather was getting a little too nasty. So you've got all of these cool things going on in Astoria, and that's just a little bit of the history. But when you think of Astoria, you got some pros and some cons, and we're just going to go over some key statistics. The median age is about 42 years of age. The median household income is about $70,000, $69,463. The population as of the last census was 10,167. And, the location of it obviously is on the north tip of the Oregon coast. So you got 363 miles of coastline, and it is on the north Oregon coast. It's about an hour from Portland metropolitan area. It's about 30 minutes from Seaside south. So you're really close to a lot of things. Your median home price is about $482,000 as of March 2024, and the average days on the market is 42 days. So it's a pretty good market. Sale to list price ratio is 96.8%, and 22% of the houses that are listed are sold above list price. When we were up there not too long ago, there were not very many houses for sale in the area, and they were all at a very high price point, especially the ones that had a river view of the Columbia River. And pretty much everywhere in Astoria, you're kind of nestled up on a hill for the most part. If you're in the city and you're overlooking either the ocean, the Columbia River, or both, and it's really just an amazing place right there on the northern tip of the Oregon coast. So when we go through the pros, which we're going to go through the pros first, one is going to be the historic charm and scenic beauty. I could list a ton of things that are historically relevant in Astoria, but I'm just going to go through a quick list here. When you're there, you feel the history of it. You feel, when you're talking about all the West Coast cities, it's the oldest city there. So when you think of these old homes, these old structures, buildings, traditions, they are there in Astoria, and they are vibrant. And not only that, but all of the Oregon coast beauty, everything that you could imagine, about the Oregon coast is within 45 minutes of Astoria. I mean, you're not getting the exact same as if, you drove down the entire Oregon coast, but you're getting pieces of it, whether it's Cannon Beach with the rocks jutting out of the ocean, whether it's Seaside and the beautiful beach, whether it's the Columbia River and all the life and vibrance of that river, whether it is seeing some of the coastal range up on the top of where Astoria Column is. There's so many things that you see from Astoria, and you just get this sense of history and tradition there of the Oregon coast. It's really second to none when you think of the Oregon coast, just because it is the elder statesman of the Oregon coastal cities. So that's one of the major pros, which is the historical charm and scenic beauty there. Number two, you have great healthcare. You've got a couple of hospitals there in Seaside, and you've got Columbia Memorial there in Astoria that are really going to be great options for you. And you're only about 45 to 60 minutes from all of the best healthcare in Oregon, which is in Portland. So if anything, you need to go for checkups or you need to go do whatever you need to do, Astoria has some very good options there, and it's very close to the Portland area. So when you think about healthcare and needs, maybe retiring to the coast, those are going to be some very positive things when it comes to Astoria. The other thing is you've got pretty good schools, whether you want to go to Napa or you want to go to the Astoria schools, or you want to go down towards Seaside, Warrenton. All of those areas have great schools and really good school districts. So if you're wanting to get out of, the major cities and get to a more rural type of school district, these are definitely going to be the options. And, the smaller the town, normally the more, I would say not always, but more conservative the school district. Not, saying that's good or bad, but that's just kind of how it goes. Napa, which is just about 10 miles to the east of Astoria, also has a really good school system, and they're smaller than obviously Astoria. Number 4 is there's an expanding economy. You've got tourism that's bustling, the fishing industry. You've got some fish plants that are shutting down in other areas and moving to Astoria. You've got local businesses, and you've got government jobs. There's other things, obviously in private industry, but there's, a bustling economy in Astoria that you don't always get on some of the Oregon coastal cities. But, you've got Astoria, Tillamook, I'd say Newport, North Bend, Coos Bay. Those are going to be like your major places where you've got great jobs. Now, there's going to be the other side to that in the cons, but I would say there's an expanding economy in Astoria. Number 5 is outdoor activities. I mean, obviously, on the Oregon coast, there's so much to do, whether it's hiking, boating, fishing, hunting, crabbing. That's maybe goes with fishing, wildlife viewing. There's tons to do. If you're wanting to be outside, go to the beach, surfing. So those outdoor activities definitely play into the pros of Astoria. And the last one is, I've already mentioned it a little bit, is just the proximity to Portland. It is nice to be 45 minutes to an hour away from Portland and the Portland metropolitan area. So everywhere else in Oregon, you're, an hour plus from the Portland metropolitan area. It's just nice to get over there to, whether you're going to do some shopping or you need to, maybe want to go to IKEA, or you're going to go shopping for a car, or you're going to go to the Portland airport. There's just a lot of things in Portland that it's nice to be able to quickly get there. And I think 45 minutes to an hour really isn't that big of a deal when you're thinking about driving into the Portland area, not being a part of the Portland area, but just being able to get there. Maybe you're going to a Blazer game, whatever. Those are the pros of living in Astoria. Some of the cons: limited job growth. So even though there is an expanding economy, those jobs get swallowed up pretty quick, and there's not lots of new jobs. So if you can get into the job market, I think you're going to be in a good situation. But if you're going there trying to get a job out of nowhere, it might be a little bit more tough. The cost of living is high. I mean, with a median household income of $70,000 and a median home price of $482, and 20% of those sell above list price, you're going to see, especially with the inflation numbers as they are, it's going to be pretty expensive to live there. And so that's definitely going to be one of the cons. Number 3 is the remoteness. I did say it was close to Portland, but still, an hour drive to get to a large city, that's, somewhat tough. The cool thing about the northern Oregon coast is they're in Warrenton, which is just across the river. They have Costco, Home Depot, I believe, or Lowe's. They have, all of those major box stores. So you don't have to go to Portland to get those things. But it's right there in Astoria. But if you do want to go to Portland, it is an hour away. So it's a little bit more remote. It's on the Oregon coast. Number 4 on our cons list is just a small population. Maybe you like a lot of people. Maybe you like a bustling scene. Well, you're not always going to get that in Astoria. I mean, you're only talking about 10,000 people. And on the, when it comes to Astoria, Warrenton, Napa, Gladstone, Seaside, Cannon Beach, it's about 30 to 40,000 people. So when you combine all those people on the northern Oregon coast, it feels like a larger city, but it's not too big. So that might be a con for you. Infrastructure, number 5, isn't great. The roads aren't great. Congestion, need, a lot of things need updating, need paving. It's not modern. It's not like what you would expect in a metropolitan city. So that can definitely be a con for a lot of people if they want to get somewhere quick or they want nice roads. Not always the best on the coast or the northern Oregon coast. And lastly, number 6 of our cons is the weather. You're only getting about 120 to 125 days of sun a year. You're getting about 80 to 90 inches of rain a year. So those things can be a major detractor if you're looking to move or live on the Oregon coast. Those are things that you're definitely going to want to consider when moving to Astoria or anywhere on the coast. Whereas Brookings, it gets somewhere around 190 days of sun a year, and Newport gets somewhere around 160 days of sun a year. So as you move south on the Oregon coast, 363 miles of coastline, you're going to get more sun as you move south on the yearly annuals. So some things to do. We already talked about outdoor activities, but you got the beach, you got Seaside, you got surfing, you got Fort Clatsop, Columbia River Maritime Museum. The Astoria River Walk is always great. Fort Stevens State Park. You have the Bow Picker Fish and Chips. You got to go check that out. Lavelle House Museum. And maybe go get something to drink at the Astoria Brewing Company. Those are just some things to do if you're just going to visit. If you're going there to live, you'll figure that out as time gives you the opportunity. But if you're looking to move to Astoria and you want more information or you need boots on the ground, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Love to get you some information. But until you get to that phase, check out the videos, subscribe, like, much appreciated. And also, just let me know if you need anything. I'm here to help. But until next time, let's just make this the best day ever. Have a great day, folks.